Okay, guys, so in this slide, we are going to quickly recapitulate, okay, about what we learned as part of this section. Okay, so in this section, we learned that what is classic cryptography. It was a form of cryptography that was existing prior to 19th century. Okay, and it had many types, and it's a very old form of cryptography. Okay, that used to exist prior to 19th century or even same till mid of 19th century. Okay, and there were many types of it. The oldest one was hieroglyph that we saw, which was being used by the Egyptian Empire at that time. Okay, and it involved using images to transmit messages, and these images, like what each image used to mean, it was known only to few people known as scribes. Okay, secondly, we saw Caesar cipher, okay, or Caesar coding, okay, which was being used extensively and popularly by the Roman Empire. Okay, and it may used to use, alphabetic substitution as a way of encoding, where each of the alphabet was shifted by some fixed number of positions. Okay, and this number of positions was actually known both to the sender as well as to the recipient of the message. Okay, and they used to, communicate in form of that. It was a pretty simple cipher, but thought to be unbreakable at that time. Okay, thirdly, we also saw what is steganography, which is just an art of, concealing something, okay, inside, concealing a file, image, or video inside another file, image, or video. Okay, and we also learned that the advantage of that form of cryptography was that, the adversary or enemy from whom you are, trying to hide your message was not even aware of the fact that something is being transmitted securely, because he can't see it. Okay, he can't feel it. Okay, and lastly, we saw Wigner coding, which is just a complex form of Caesar cipher, which involved polyalphabetic substitution. Okay, or like variable number of position substitution. Okay, so in Caesar, as we saw, that it's a fixed number of positions based substitution. In Wigner coding, it was a variable number of substitution, and we also saw an example, okay, how that is going, that is basically working with the help of a keyword. Okay, now, an important point, guys, to consider is that the cryptography techniques that you saw as part of classic cryptography were mainly based on obscurity or secrecy, guys. Okay, so what is basically meant by these terms is that the main way of encrypting the message, or the main way of, making the message secret, was based on some secret method. Okay, just like either it's a Caesar cipher or a Wigner coding. Okay, and this secret method was known only to the people who were transmitting these messages between each other. Okay, so if this secret method somebody would come to know, okay, then they would be easily able to break it down. Okay, they would be easily able to crack down this transmit message. Okay, so that's an important aspect of classic cryptography that I want you guys to keep it in mind, that in classic cryptography, the typical encryption or the typical encoding or secreting of a message happens basically based on obscurity or secrecy. Okay, so there were couple of secret methods that we saw that were being used to make these messages a hidden secret message. Okay, and these secret methods were only known to the people who were transmitting it. Okay, so if it would come to be known by other people, okay, then they can easily break it out, because there is nothing difficult to break them, if you once know the technique behind it. Okay, so that's an important aspect of classic cryptography. Okay, guys, in the next section we are going to look about the aspects of modern cryptography, which is cryptography after the 19th century. Okay, so or from the mid of the 19th century, I would say. Okay, so at that time I want you to keep in mind also that during the 19th century we had many revolutions, in form of computer industry growing up, okay, complex algorithms, okay, taking in shape, okay, computing going to a next level, okay. So that all led and contributed to development of cryptography as well, okay. And that part of the aspect would cover in modern cryptography, which is the cryptography that we use in today's world. And you would see that it's pretty much different, okay, or it's a pretty much totally like it's the way it works is very very much different as compared to classic cryptography, okay. So we are going to see all that in detail, guys, okay. So that's it from this section, guys, okay. So if you have no questions, okay, please feel free to move into the next section. Thank you, guys.